Hi everyone, my name is Chris Martin. Welcome to Keto with me. It is day 34 on my journey back into keto. New to my channel, check out my day 0 video where I cover the reasons why I created this video series. Alright, let's roll the clip. That's my day 34 clip, folks. So it was a pretty standard day for my current pattern that I'm following right now, which is the 23-in-1 OMAD fasting. So that 1 meal a day is what that means. So let's go through the numbers real quick. My carbs were 6.3. That's really good. My blood glucose it jumped to 90, but not worried about that. That's still really good. My ketones were 2.5. Right on, perfect for me. I really like that. So I did have a little bit of weight loss. Remember yesterday I had 0. So my weight loss was 0.3. So I dropped down to 211.5. That gives me a grand total so far of 22.9. So looking really good there. My Dr. Boz ratio is 36, which is really good. I'm trying to stay under 40, according to her scale. I think that works really, really well. My GKI is 2.0, and my macro percentages for day 34 was 74%, 3%, and 23%. So right on the money. So yesterday was one of those days where my wife wanted to make chicken stir fry. Chicken has a lot of protein in it. Doesn't really have much fat, especially since this fat didn't have the skin on it. So that made it even worse. So as I was configuring the meal, it didn't really look like I had, enough fat. I mean, turned out to be just almost a mimic of the day before. So I was like, yeah, I need a little bit more fat. Now, as much as I didn't want to do it, I just went and, first of all, I added some additional foods. Like, all right, can I add a little bit of olives? Olives give you some fat, but they don't give you enough. Then I was like, well, maybe I'll make a couple eggs. Eggs are kind of almost balanced in protein and fat. So I was like, and then I was like, okay, I have some leftovers in there that are a little bit higher fat than protein. So I ended up eating, like almost one of those sausage links that was left over. Plus that doesn't, try to help not waste some food. And then all said and done, I ended up doing like 2 of the shots of, I shouldn't say shots, but I did 2 1 ounce, is it 1 ounce? No, I think it's tablespoons. 2 tablespoons of the MCT oil just to kind of get my get my fat up to where I needed it. So not what I wanted to do. I was actually kind of afraid of doing it that late in the day because I was worried I was going to be like wired, before bed, but it didn't affect me at all. Honestly, I was able to go right to sleep. So that was pretty good. So that was my day 34, folks. Let's take a look at my goals. All right, let's look at my day 34 goals. This is week 5. This is day 6. So we're almost at the end of week 5. So for day 34, last night was a good night's sleep. I had 7 hours. I got up 0, and everything was really good. So I left myself in best category from that for yesterday. So actually, yeah. As far as eating goes, I had a really good fast, 23 hours and 30 minutes. I've been doing that pretty consistently, so I'm in beast mode on that, you know, based on my category there. As far as style goes, my style is still dirty clean, you know, good home cooked meal. I did eat like, you know, a leftover sausage and, you know, a few other things, but they were all, you know, pretty darn good quality, and, you know, I really actually enjoyed that stir fry. And you'd be surprised, you know, I looked at that, I think it's bird's eye stir fry, and I told my wife, I was like, oh, this is gonna make it really hard, because, you know, that's gonna have a lot of carbs in it, you know. And I flipped it over and I looked at it and I was like, 4.5 servings and 5 carbs, and I'm talking total carbs, not, you know, if you're doing net, you have even less than that. 5 carbs per serving, and it's a cup. You know, of course that's pre-cooked, you know, so, you know, not pre-cooked, before it's cooked, right? So, so you'd need to measure it out ahead of time. So what I did is I just looked at the pan after it was cooked and said, okay, I took my chicken out and weighed it separate, and then I, you know, estimated about what would be one of the servings out of it, and that's how I got my number and all. I thought that was pretty good. It was very tasty. You know, it was nice to have something, you know, that you would think you would just have on, you know, when you're doing the standard American diet, not necessarily a keto type of thing. So very delicious. And then I augmented it, like I said in my recap, with some, you know, some additional MCT and some, you know, olives and a piece of cheese. So it, you know, overall, I think it went pretty well. So my macros, I'm talking about part of that right now too, is, you know, I had 6.3 carbs. The vast majority of those carbs came from that, you know, a little bit of vegetables that I had. And then my macro percentages were, you know, pretty good, especially since I pushed them into that range. And then as far as learning goes, you know, I watched the video that I wanted, you know, that I'm going to recommend today. A really quick one though. And I'm at 5 videos plus, you know, for the week. So that I'm in beast category. So you see everything's kind of shifted over to the right, which is really good. Meditation and relaxation, I continued my, you know, 5 and 5 for each day. That went really well. And then I had no exercise yesterday. And looking forward to, you know, like I said, trying to start up something soon. So that's it for my goals, folks. Let's take a look at my video recommendation. All right, let's take a look at the day 34 video recommendation. It's another one by Dr. Boz. I was really tight for time yesterday, so I wanted to find something, you know, that was quick. Sorry, being a little selfish for myself, so I can get it reviewed and just, you know, share it with you folks. So the video is only 4 minutes and 2 seconds long. I was sitting there trying to think of what can I share with you guys that might be coming up, and, you know, you had questions about. And I think a lot of us, when we're thinking about, you know, when we switch our diet, right, we think immediately we might be losing some, you know, nutrients and stuff. And that's not necessarily the case, but if you did need some kind of supplements, you know, Dr. Boz has a video that talks about, actually the name of it is The Only Keto Supplements Worth Taking. So I think if you ever take supplements and stuff and you talk to your doctor, even on the standard American diet, most of them will tell you that, oh yeah, you could take, you know, they tell you there's some worth taking, like maybe a fish oil, maybe a vitamin D, and, you know, maybe 1 or 2 other things if you have some kind of deficiency. Doesn't seem like there's a lot of doctors out there that promote supplements unless they're like trying to promote their own line or something like that. Not to say that Dr. Boz isn't promoting, you know, her own thing here, but she does have, you know, she's got her supplements in the background and all that, but the list is actually quite short. You know, one of them is magnesium, and it's not something that she actually wants you to take. She recommends like doing a magnesium float, like I think she says she does 1 a month, where you actually go to a spa and, you know, you're kind of, you know, isolated and you just float. And from what I hear, they are like awesome. I've never actually done one. I think I will do one sometimes, you know, in the future here. But I do Epsom salt baths, which is magnesium. So I think she said, like, if you do an Epsom salt bath, she didn't say that in this video, but in another video I watched, she said that, you know, like, you want to kind of be in there for like at least 40 minutes or something like that. I think a lot of times I turn the bathtub up too hot to do that. to be able to tolerate it for 40 minutes. But I think what I'm going to do is just kind of take the temperature down a little bit and try that. So that one, magnesium, she's not telling you to go and buy anything from her or anything like that. So I think that kind of says something that, she's got our best interest in mind. She also recommends that, as far as keto supplements could go, you could need some MCT or BHB. She calls it the Red Bull of keto supplements, and we talked about that at the beginning, getting over the keto flu. But you can also use, and she doesn't say this, but this is how I use it. So yesterday, obviously, I used the MCT to kind of augment my meal to get it closer, to the fat macros. But as far as like using the ketones in a can, the BHB that we talked about for the keto flu, I use it for workouts, because even though I want to burn my own ketones, sometimes I want extra energy during that workout. So I'll do sometimes some BHB at that point. I don't always do it. She had her like MCT BHB supplements in the background, but she didn't say, hey, buy this. She just said, these are ones she recommends. She recommends the salt again, the Redmond salt that she talked about previously. She said put just enough to dissolve, and she calls it Soleil water, which I think is something that does exist. I just never heard it called that before. I heard it called in one of her videos before, but before that I never knew. So that I do, and I definitely know when I don't. Like we talked about the one day when I was cramping and stuff. And then lastly, she definitely recommends a vitamin D and a K2 supplement. And I'll have to find a video where she talks specifically about the K2 supplements. I want to say it's the NK7 version, but I'm not entirely sure. It was a really quick video. It was very concise. The sound was a little weird for me because it didn't sound like Dr. Boz. It almost sounded like the sound got messed up and they kind of did after adjustments on it and stuff. But it's still a very short, to the point, good video. And I think if you have any questions about supplements, it gives you a good arsenal, of what you could be taking to help your keto journey. So that's it for my video recommendation, folks. That's it for day 34, folks. Thanks for watching today's video. Please like and subscribe so you can keto with me. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them down below. Just remember, nobody's perfect. Be a coach, not a critic, and take care.